The fan above your head was never meant to comfort you. It was born in shadows. In the late 1800s, its blade spun naked, sharp as knives, slicing through air and sometimes flesh. Families feared them. Newspapers warned of blood. But the darkest secret? Before cooling homes, fans chilled corpses in morgues, keeping the dead from rotting too soon. That gentle hum you trust at night, once whispered over lifeless bodies. What you see as safety was once survival, danger, and death. The electric fan isn't just a household tool. It's a relic of terror hiding in plain sight. Imagine waking up in a world where summer heat is not just uncomfortable, it's deadly. The year is 1902. Your apartment feels like a furnace. The air is heavy, unmoving, thick with smoke from factories outside. Children cry through the night, sweat soaking their sheets. Hospitals overflow with patients gasping for breath, their bodies weakened by fevers made worse by suffocating rooms. You step into a crowded factory. The air doesn't move. Workers collapse at their machines, faces pale, clothes drenched. In the morgue, attendants rush to cover bodies before decay sets in, fighting against time itself. Then, in the corner of a hospital ward, you hear a strange hum. Metal blades spin, powered by electricity, pushing air across the room. Patients sigh in relief. The smell of sickness fades. For the first time, the air moves. This invention isn't luxury, it's survival. Families scrape together wages to buy one, not for comfort, but to keep children alive through brutal heat waves. The fan becomes a lifeline, a silent guardian against death. Step into that world, and you'll never look at the gentle breeze in your bedroom the same way again. Before the electric fan, heat was not just discomfort, it was a silent predator. Imagine tenement rooms in the 1890s, packed with families, air thick with smoke and sweat. Nights offered no relief. Children cried until their voices broke, their small bodies burning with fever. Sleep was impossible. Hospitals became suffocation chambers. Patients lay gasping, infections spreading faster in stagnant air. Doctors fought battles they could not win because the enemy was invisible, unmoving heat. Factories turned into torture halls. Workers collapsed at their machines, sweat dripping onto iron floors, lungs desperate for breath. The poor had no escape. Wealthy families fled to breezy estates, but the working class endured suffocating nights where every breath felt heavy. Heat waves claimed thousands of lives. Newspapers reported bodies found in apartments, victims of exhaustion and dehydration. In morgues, attendants struggled against decay, covering corpses quickly before rot set in. People tried desperate remedies, waving paper fans until arms ached, sleeping on rooftops, soaking sheets in water. But nothing stopped the relentless heat. Survival itself was at risk. This was the dark truth. Before the fan, the air stood still and silence carried the weight of death. The electric fan was not born in comfort. It was born in desperation. At the end of the 19th century, cities were choking. Factories roared, apartments baked, and heat waves claimed thousands of lives. People prayed for moving air, for anything that could break the suffocating silence. In 1882, a young engineer named Schuyler Wheeler unveiled something strange, a motor attached to spinning blades. It was crude, dangerous, and terrifying. No protective cage, just exposed steel slicing through the air. Yet when it turned, the room breathed. For the first time, air moved without human hands waving paper fans. At first, these machines weren't placed in homes. They were installed in morgues, hospitals, and factories, places where stagnant air meant death. Families read headlines of accidents, but still they begged for access. The fan was not luxury. It was survival. By the early 1900s, companies refined the design, adding cages, lighter motors, and eventually oscillation. What began as a deadly experiment became a household lifeline. The fan's origin was not about comfort. It was about fighting death itself. Every hum today carries echoes of those desperate nights, when spinning blades meant the difference between suffocation and survival. Before the fan, nights were battles. Families waved paper fans until arms ached. Children fainted in suffocating rooms, and hospitals became chambers of slow death. Factories echoed with collapse, morgues raced against decay. Survival meant desperation. Then the fan arrived. Suddenly, air moved. Sweat-soaked sheets dried. Patients breathed easier. Workers endured longer shifts without collapsing. Families gathered in rooms where heat no longer ruled. The hum of blades became the sound of relief, dignity, and hope. What was once a world of still, deadly air transformed into one where survival was simple. Plug in and breathe again. Few people know the fan's earliest role was in homes. It was in morgues. Before cages were added, those spinning blades cooled corpses, slowing decay so families could say goodbye. And when fans finally enter houses, they were still lethal. Children lost fingers reaching too close. Pets were killed by exposed steel wings. Newspapers reported gruesome accidents, yet demand kept rising. The fan was both savior and silent killer. That gentle hum you trust today once carried the chill of death and the risk of blood. It's not just history. It's a hidden truth hiding in plain sight. Tonight, when you switch on your fan, listen closely. That steady hum feels harmless, even comforting. But hidden inside it is a past of morgues, accidents, and desperate survival. What you see as a gentle breeze was once the difference between life and death, between decay and preservation. The irony is sharp. A tool of danger transformed into a symbol of safety. Every rotation of those blades carries echoes of blood, sweat, and silence. So the next time it cools your skin, remember, comfort was never its beginning. It was a twist at the end.